All right, wonderful. Let's go ahead and kick things off. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us live here today. If you're watching the recording back, thank you for doing that. It's really nice to see a lot of different areas represented. So pretty cool reach there. So yeah, welcome to our AI and future skills webinar today. So we'll be talking about preparing students for that future job market. So yeah, I'm excited to run through this webinar with you and excited to share some resources. And I'm also excited to learn from you all as well. So before we get started, just some quick intros here. So my name is TJ Devane. I am a PD specialist at CodeHS. Prior to CodeHS, I taught in the high school setting, public high school, for 10 years. Started off teaching math and then transitioned into teaching computer science. So I've got an array of experience from a lot of different courses taught. So very excited to be here to share my experiences and learn about your experience as well. And then on the back end, Leanne is PD specialist. She's going to be supporting me as well as I got numerous other members of our PD team here helping you out. So in terms of like questions and feedback and things like that, got a lot of support here. So yeah, we're in good hands. All right, so if you are not familiar with like the webinar style in Zoom, so we've enabled a couple of things. We have the chat. Obviously, I can see a lot of people commenting in the chat, so that's wonderful. So you'll have that ability to, talk with everybody in the chat. And then we do have the Q&A enabled in Zoom. So if you have a specific, CodeHS or AI or, general kind of CS kind of question that you want to ask, sometimes it can get lost in the chat, but if you look at usually it's at the bottom of your Zoom, you'll see the Q&A button. So if you have any questions, definitely throw those in there as well. All right, so this is a part of our free webinar series. So I know some of you maybe are CodeHS users, maybe some super users, maybe it was the first year using it. But we also know that maybe some people haven't used CodeHS yet. And so, for the purpose of today's webinar, you don't need a CodeHS account. But, by the end, I'll be sharing some CodeHS resources that if you just create an account on CodeHS, you'll be able to access these resources at no cost. So we're talking like, curriculum and projects and a lot of things kind of centered around AI. So yeah, Leanne is going to put that in the chat. So if you would like to sign up for your free CodeHS accounts, just click that link, codehs.com/sign up, and just follow those steps on the screen. And then we do have an attendance link. We will post this at the beginning and then also near the end as well. So this you would have to be signed into CodeHS in order for this to work. There's not much to it. You just simply click the link as long as you're signed into CodeHS. And I can show you that here as well, that when you click on it, this is all that it will say. It gets the title of our webinar and just says, hey, thanks for attending this event. And there's nothing else that you need to do on that page. So this webinar is being recorded, and the recording and resources will be shared after the event. So stay tuned for that as well. All right, glad the link works fine there. Cool. So for those of you that are not familiar with CodeHS, just want to kind of familiarize yourself with what our platform is and what we offer, what we provide. So CodeHS is a comprehensive platform for teachers teaching computer science in middle school, high school, and also elementary school. So we provide kindergarten through 12th web-based computer science curriculum. So to emphasize that web-based, you do not need to download any external software or applications. Everything is accessible through your favorite web browser, although we prefer Chrome. Um, some of us do. And all you need is a login in order to access that curriculum. We also offer various forms of professional development. So you're seeing one of these right now. This is part of our free series for the summer. We also have, back to school webinars and things like that, but we also offer more customized online, in-person professional development. Our platform also offers an array of teacher tools and resources, including a customizable LMS and grading system and support. So just to highlight a few of these things here in our platform, being able to get and send out, instant feedback and submissions, auto graders for your students, um, a lot of different extensive data tracking tools available for teachers as well. And again, all web-based, no need to download anything, no plugins, anything like that. That should make your IT happy at your schools there. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and get into like really the meat of our agenda and our webinar for today. So here is the main points for our agenda today. So I'm going to start off talking about just the future job market and its demands. We'll get into just talking about some essential skills that students are going to need in the future and right now, some various strategies to equip your students with those future ready skills. We'll dive into some actual like practical applications. We'll look at things like ChatGPT and just a few different examples of how we can use these AI tools in the classroom. And then, yeah, we'll talk about, prepping students for just that lifelong journey and adaptability. And then we'll end with, some resources that you can access right now with your CodeHS free accounts. We have a lot of new AI courses and projects and just resources to share with you. So yeah, excited to dive into all of it today. So thank you, Leanne, for putting all of that in the chat. Super helpful. And then also, I just wanted to be transparent with everybody as well. So like in this webinar, so I plan on sharing some findings and resources that I have come across. I'm going to pose some open-ended discussions for you as well that I would love for people to respond and reflect on in chats, and also just share some of those CodeHS AI resources with you. So, I'll say right away that I am not an expert when it comes to AI, and I certainly, have a lot to learn. And I think many of us can, kind of harmonize with that. I feel like that a lot of us are in that similar situation when it comes to just like understanding AI and how that fits in education. I've been out of the classroom now just for 2 years. And so, haven't had really that hands-on experience of working with students directly with any kind of AI tools in the classroom. So I'm definitely excited to learn from all of you here today and be able to, listen and hear your stories and ideas and just your reflections in chat based on, your experiences so far in the classroom. So with this webinar, I am going to, just encourage that if you have questions, again, to throw those into the Q&A because those can get lost within the chats. And I encourage you to, share your reflections, your opinions, your ideas, your philosophies, and just stories that you have when it comes to AI and education. I think all of us can learn from each other, and I think that's extremely valuable. So I'm excited. Let's go ahead and jump in here. All right, so in this first part, we are going to discuss AI and automation trends. We'll talk about key skills, required for future job markets and kind of those shifts from traditional skills to more like creative problem solving and adaptability. So my first discussion question to kind of just propose to everybody here is, in what ways can we help students develop the adaptability and resilience needed to thrive in a rapidly changing job market influenced by AI and automation? So if you have, thoughts about that, please throw them in the chat. But just something to consider as we're going through this webinar today, and obviously after the webinar. All right, so some data that I found. So I spent some time as I was preparing for this webinar, doing a lot of research, watching, various other webinars, reading articles, just trying to dig into the research and find some useful information that I think is worth sharing with you all. So some of that research in a survey about AI use given to employees, people were asked two questions. So how often do you use generative AI at your work? And how long have you been using Gen AI at your work? So some of the interesting data that I found here was 75% of people saying they are already using AI at work, 46% of them saying that they just started using it less than 6 months ago. So this came from the Microsoft's Work Trend Index, and all of the resources that I reference in here are referenced at the end of this slide deck. So you'll be able to, if you want to dig in more and read those articles, watch those webinars, you'll have that opportunity to do that as well. So this that trend index highlights that AI is just becoming more a fundamental aspect of the workplace, enhancing productivity, reshaping roles across industries, and that integration of AI tools is leading to just a shift in job demands where, things like our routine tasks are just becoming more automated, allowing employees to focus more on strategic and creative activities. All right, so AI is also just reshaping the job market by creating new roles and making some of those traditional roles maybe a little bit more obsolete. So as educators, we need to focus on fostering skills like creative problem solving, like we have always done, and strategic thinking, which are becoming increasingly more and more valuable. So an integral part of our role as a teacher is just fostering that creative problem solving abilities within the context of their subject matter. So for me, it's important for students to develop that capacity to generate creative solutions through methodical problem solving approaches that just emphasize comprehension, collaboration, hypothesizing, analyzing, synthesizing, and iteration. So I see that like AI serves as just an additional tool, not the only tool for teachers to just help streamline that expression of creative problem solvings. So our end goal is still the same, to help students learn how to solve problems creatively, whether or not we are using AI tools. All right, some more interesting information I found here too. So just AI going more mainstream, and creative professionals are just skilling up fast. So what I mean by that, so this chart is I found just describes occupations where the greatest percent of members on LinkedIn adding AI aptitude skills to their profiles in 2023. So a takeaway for me here is that what I see is that it's not just all like very tech heavy occupations that are wanting to upskill with AI. I see a variety of careers that can benefit from using AI. Another nice piece of information I found here, these are just the top non-technical occupations using LinkedIn specifically to build AI aptitude. So again, just seeing that wide range of occupations being represented from, project managers to writers to account executives. So the reach is far beyond just, a tech focused career, tech focused environment. And so as I was kind of going through here, I thought like a fun kind of like exploration for students might be to answer this kind of question and do some sort of activity with this, where answering the question, how might these professionals see AI as supportive in their careers? So an idea could be that, students could research these occupations that maybe have interest to them, and then from there being able to research just AI tools, different AI tools that might align and support the work of those occupations. So, so far we've looked at some of the trends in the job market where professionals are starting to use and learn about AI in their roles. So now what I'd like to do is to start just examining a little bit more the shift in skills and how these skills relate to other significant changes in our world. So in the future, I think, AI skills will no longer be optional, but rather essential. Those who lack those skills may face some fewer opportunities and be just at a disadvantage. So both our current students and existing professionals need to consider, upskilling in AI to stay a little bit more competitive and just part of the, evolving job market. Um, I listened to a webinar the other day, and Brian Johnsrud of Adobe had a great quote that I wanted to share with you. And that was, it's not AI that is going to take somebody's job. It's somebody using AI that's going to take their job. And I think that was a pretty powerful statement. And I think we can compare that to something like the internet. So when we think about like the internet, so drawing that parallel, I think one could say that the rise of, e-commerce platforms like Amazon did not directly eliminate, traditional retail jobs. Instead, it was, individuals that were harnessing the internet's reach and efficiency to disrupt those established market models. So similarly, the internet did not inherently replace jobs, but those who adapted to its potential were able to kind of reshape industry. So to me, this highlights just the importance of not just fearing technological advancements, but rather just kind of focusing on how can we skillfully navigate and utilize these tools to create new opportunities and value in the workplace. And then just the last example too, um, just effective use of like using things like Google and Bing. So these tools, are gateways to solutions, entertainment, creative ideas. So just being able to effectively use them, that took some trial and error on all of our parts. So I think the same can be said with the AI tools and their capabilities that we're still, everything is very new. We're still learning what are the best ways to effectively use these tools and effectively use them within the classroom. All right, another good kind of brainstorming with students that I thought would be nice is to, think about the internet as it exists today. So if we could travel back in time 30 years ago and describe to people what success looks like using this tool, what would they say? Now, what explorations could we make with, AI tools? What do we think might look like success using AI tools? So reflecting on that success, failures, safety, and privacy concerns of the internet, looking at those in the history of the internet, that can help us be more intentional and purposeful with, exploring AI tools. And then lastly, and then I'll throw it to Leanne and see if we have any, any good questions to bring up here. So as automation handles more routine tasks, there is this growing emphasis on human skills such as, creativity, critical thinking, and adaptability. So these skills I see are essential for innovation and navigating just complexities of a technologically driven world. And that ability is continuously to learn and adapt to new tools, processes, and will be a significant advantage in this evolving job market. So users, AI power users save, time daily and find it significantly that it enhances workload management, creativity, task focus, motivation, and job employment. So I'm going to pause right there before we jump into just talking about some of those essential skills for students, and throw it to Leanne to see if there's any good questions that came up in the chat that are worth sharing with the whole group.
There's nothing yet, but if there's anybody that has any questions on anything, go ahead and throw those in right now.
And thank you, Leanne, for finding the name. Yeah, that was Brian Johnsrud of Adobe. Yeah, so at the end of this presentation, I have all the resources that I went through, and obviously there's so many different resources out there that we can pull from and understand from. But I found that webinar to be very enlightening. So I definitely take a look at it. All right, so our next kind of transition here, we're going to take just a little bit closer look at just some of those skills that a lot of employers are looking for in their future employees. All right, so this data I got from a wonderful article on LinkedIn, so titled, which jobs are growing and which ones are declining. And this is something I've shared in various classroom visits as well, and I found it to be a nice reflective piece to share with students. So I think, some of the information I've shared in this webinar, I think is valuable and can be shared with your students. Maybe next year if you're already on, summer break. But, a big takeaway I got here, 42% of companies prioritizing training in AI and big data, highlighting just that critical importance. And then from the kind of leadership and adaptability side, employers also plan to emphasize skills in leadership, social influence, resilience, flexibility, agility, and lifelong learning. So a few things to highlight here as well. So just analytical thinking, creative thinking, technological literacy, those are among the most kind of critical skills for future job markets, indicating just a strong emphasis on problem solving, innovation, ability to navigate and leverage technology. And another piece to emphasize here, so resilience, flexibility, motivation, and self-awareness are other essential personal skills, with empathy, active listening, and leadership as crucial interpersonal skills as well, highlighting just that need to be for adaptability, emotional intelligence, and effective communication in future workplaces. So I see, having that tech literacy and understanding, having those tech skills, those are important. But, I think it's important to also emphasize a lot of the soft skills that employers are looking for as well. And those importances, and sometimes those soft skills having a precedence over those kind of tech heavy skills. All right, and then so before we look at actually some of the practical tools, and I have some cool things to share like code enrichment, exploration, and my favorite, the APCSP grader rubric. Just a couple other things I want to mention here as well. So we're going to talk about, just various strategies to equip students with future ready skills. So a few things that we want to emphasize, one of them being encouraging creative thinking. I've mentioned this, a few times already throughout this webinar, but, I think creative thinking is a crucial skill that can be refined through activities like brainstorming, problem solving, collaboration. And most of our students have that inherent creativity, and it's our job as educators to nurture and bring that out in our students. So how does AI fit there? AI should be viewed as a tool that enhances but doesn't replace human creativity, critical thinking. I think by integrating AI tools into um, our assignments, we can help to just transform, enhance that learning experience for our students. Encouraging critical thinking. So critical thinking and the ability to address complex issues, I think, are important as well. These skills, help to um, enable students to just develop innovative solutions and navigate just various complexities of modern and changing workplaces. Also encouraging tech skills in AI. So tech skills in AI obviously are becoming more fundamental. So students should be safely trained in using AI tools to remain, just relevant and competitive in whatever job markets, you know, comes in the future. Okay, another another discussion question here that I thought is worth sharing. So, what challenges do you foresee in teaching technical proficiencies in AI and automation to your students that have, come to your classrooms just with, varying skill levels? And how might you address those challenges? And this is probably, maybe already come up in your classroom. So just curious to hear what people have to say and, you know, sharing ideas and reflections in the chats. I think this is my last encouragement here too, is just growth mindset too. Um, you know, an adaptable mindset and that continuous learning are crucial, being lifelong learners. And I think as educators that, comes somewhat natural to us, but may not be as natural for every student to understand and understand its importance. So I think being able to encourage students to stay updated with latest technology and advancements, that helps to ensure they remain competitive and agile. All right, another discussion here as well too. So, how do you encourage in your classrooms? How do you encourage a mindset of continuous learning and adaptability in your students? What strategies, what resources do you find most effective in this regard for growth mindset? I think we could spend, a whole like day or two and going through each of these discussion questions here. All right, so I do have some tools and just some ideas with a little bit CS focus side on, how can we use generative AI in the classroom? And so I wanted to share just and highlight just a couple of those examples here today. So I think there's a lot of applications in AI specifically for education. So for instance, AI can provide quicker feedback and can help to improve student work. It's just a matter of how we are effectively doing that in the classroom. And I think we can help to create, environments for experimental learning. So I think our philosophies as teachers, just in regard to encouraging creative thinking, remain the same. We just now have these AI tools to help support learning. So I think, we should be facilitating creative thinking by developing our lessons to help, promote personalized learning, collaboration, encouraging exploration and inquiry. Um, so for instance, students could use AI to help brainstorm and explore, yet uncovered coding approaches. So I think this is a great technique to address potentially some course pacing where you maybe have classroom of with a few high flyers that need more enrichment ideas. And again, with these ideas that I share, prior to allowing students to use AI tools, it's important that we are effectively training students on how to use these tools appropriately and effectively. Um, this isn't something I would just introduce one day into my classroom and have my students, go through and complete this. This would have to involve, you know, education around the AI tool itself, and their, potential concerns and benefits and how we should look at these tools. And I agree. I just saw a comment that we need to get trained first, and I 100% agree. I've heard that comment a lot. So one tool I want to mention here is this code enrichment. And so here is a cool example. One of my colleagues came up with this. This is not my idea. I can't take credit for it. But with that, so here's an example of how we could do some code enrichment using AI. And so the tool used here was ChatGPT. So here we have this, okay, this AI prompt. So copy the below prompts and code and feed that to your favorite AI tool, whether that's ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, whatever it is. So is there a better way to perform conditional printing in the following code? So in this coded example here, we have some Python code, just a simple, conditional printing. Is there a better way to do this? And what ChatGPT came up with in this response, yeah, there's more concise and efficient way to perform conditional printing. One approach is to use a dictionary to map, year to the grade. And so I think this is, a fun way for students to be able to, learn some new code and have a little bit more discovery as well. So, if a student is not familiar with something like, a dictionary, they can continue that conversation with the chatbot and, ask some follow-up questions and learn more about that. Maybe something that's not even in the course as well. So this is, just one example of how we can help those high flyers that need a little bit more rigor or need a little bit more, enrichment in whatever activity you're doing in the classroom. The next one I want to share is code explanation here. So I'll show you another prompt here. So the modulus operator, for those of you that have taught CS and have taught the modulus operator, for some reason that is always a roadblock for students. And so this is I think a good example of where you could use AI to, help with potential explanation, maybe find various analogies and use cases that are relevant to students here. So in this example, with the AI prompt here, can you explain the purpose of the following code snippet? And we have, again, some Python code, a simple if-else statement that uses the modulus operator that is checking whether, a number is even or odd. And so, with that response, ChatGPT is able to give us a little bit further explanation, maybe different than what the teacher, what you explain to your students, what the course explains. And again, continuing that conversation within, ChatGPT and asking for, where's an analogy, where's a real world example of where I could see the modulus operator being used outside of this example, outside of this class. All right, and then this is my favorite one, is the AI AP reader here. So again, my colleague came up with this wonderful idea. Just how can we use, for those of you that, and this is specifically with, AP CS Principles course, um, you know, and I think it's interesting too if you teach that course or are up to date on, College Board policies. They have new language within in this course about students being able to use chatbots for the creation of their create performance task. So I think it's interesting to see, things like College Board and how they're using and, mentioning chatbots and how those can be used as part of the course itself. So with that, so this AP Computer Science Principles course, so here we have this AI prompt. So grade the following program relative to the below rubric and provide an AP CSP style score. So here we have some student code. We have, a function here to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And then we have um, our main function with an array in there, and then also a for loop in there. So we would feed, ChatGPT this code, and then also, copy and paste the CSP rubric as well. And so we have, 6 different areas of that rubric. And then here we get this AI response, which I think is interesting. So, it scores it, I think it scores it as scores it as a 4. So it takes each area 1 through 6, and provides a 1 or 2 sentence explanation of why or why not the student code met that part of the rubric. So again, you know, is this going to be perfect every time? No. Do students need, training on this and understanding that, AI is not always correct? Yes, they need to understand that, and they can't just take, a chatbot's word that, oh, if I got a 3 out of 5 on this, or I'm gonna get, a 6 out of 6, I'm golden, I'm fine, I can submit this, I don't need to do anything else. So yeah, there needs to be, that education about effective use of AI tools. All right, so I will pause right there, take a sip of my water, and then Leanne, is there any other questions or anything worth? I see the chat is popping off, and I will have to go back and read through the chat a little bit more after. It's definitely hard to multitask and look at that. But is there anything else that's worth talking about at this point?
There hasn't really been questions, too many questions. I think that you're doing very well. One of the main ones is I think Christopher asked it in the chat, and a lot of people have been responding to him. That basically, how are we going to use AI so that students are not over relying on it and becoming lazy? And a lot of other people have been answering that as well. So that was our main discussion question that was coming up.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I'll throw my 2 cents in as a former math teacher as well. So we can pose that kind of question with, using a calculator. When is it effective to use a calculator? How do we, develop our lessons and assess our students and ensure that they are not, relying so much on the calculator and using that as a crutch. And I don't know if I have the perfect answer for that, because in my, my short 10 years of experience teaching math and computer science, that was a battle year to year. And I think, just depending on students' backgrounds, what math teacher they had previous and things like that, there was a lot of variables to consider. Um, but yeah, I think there we can draw a lot of analogies from that. So I think that's a good discussion, a good question to bring up. And I think there's a lot of different ways of how you can tackle that. All right, so I think we got a couple more things we're going to talk about here, and then we're getting close to the end of the webinar. So just a couple things that I want to mention here, just preparing students for this lifelong learning and adaptability. So a few more things that I wanted to share and some data that I found. So to prepare students for future job markets, I think we need to, help teach them those technical AI skills along with creative, strategic, and entrepreneurial skills. This will, help to prepare them for just a diverse range of careers, whether, they want to go down the kind of old school traditional routes of, college and then a career after that, or if they want to start their own business. So we want to be able to, be open-minded about where students are going to go after they, leave school. So I think preparing them for just a diverse range of careers, including that like self-employment and innovative industries, starting their own businesses. I think we need to be aware of that as we are um, talking with our students and teaching them about these future skills and helping them prepare for, a variety of different avenues. So CodeHS also has some new courses and projects that I think can be valuable resources to help you and also help your students provide some essential skills and just start to unpack this new world of AI here. So a little bit more data. So something I found here, 77% of leaders, and this came from the Microsoft resource that I read and I mentioned a few times throughout here. 77% of leaders believe that early career talents with AI skills will be given just greater responsibilities due to their proficiency in AI. I thought that was interesting. 71% of leaders are more likely to hire a less experienced candidate with AI skills over a more experienced candidate without them. And 66% would not hire somebody lacking those AI skills. So just interesting to look into the lens of the job market and what we're seeing right now. All right, so to wrap things up here with our webinar, I do want to share some awesome just CodeHS AI resources that we have available. And these are available for everybody. So whether you have a pro account or you have a free account, you have access to all of our courses and projects as well. So I do want to highlight some of the new AI courses and projects that we have available as well. All right. So we have three new AI courses. So the first one I want to highlight here is this Intro to AI for Middle School. And Leanne can share just the course overview page as well, and also the syllabus if you want to take a little bit deeper dive into what that looks like. Um, so let me pull that one up too. So this is the course overview page, which Leanne just linked in the chat there. Um, so in this short course, so it's again, it's designed for middle school students, contact hours 10 hours. Students will be able to explore AI, completing 10 different projects. So they'll get to learn to use AI, generate content, write effective prompts to just generate some desired results, build their own machine learning model using Teachable Machine. Maybe some of you have used Teachable Machine before. And just by the end of the course, have just more of a understanding of the benefits and challenges that are associated with AI. At the high school level, we have a Intro to AI for high school as well. So that one is 20 hours. And Leanne will share the resources there. So you'll have the course overview page as well as the syllabus. Syllabus is a little bit more detailed. But again, another new resource from CodeHS. So in this course, students get the chance to explore just some key aspects of AI, including machine learning, large language models, bias in models, and impacts they have on society. So students will have a chance to just engage with various AI tools throughout the course, such as things like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Teachable Machine. Prerequisites, there are no prerequisites for these courses, and that is should be mentioned right at the beginning of each of the syllabi as well, but there is no prerequisite, which is fantastic. Now, if students have a little bit of knowledge about AI, they can still take these courses as well. And then we also have a little bit more advanced high school course called Applications of AI and Machine Learning. So this is a 20-hour course. And let me pull this up here. So this course is a little bit more advanced, but it's designed to take a look at just like how data can be used for machine learning to create models for AI. So in this course, students will be using TensorFlow with Python to create neural network models. Um, I hadn't had the chance to jump into this course, but I'm excited to, when I have a little bit of time, to be able to explore a little bit more of this course as well. And then more details about prerequisites and things like that you can find in each of these syllabi. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what this course is and what the prerequisites might be, definitely take a look there as well. Okay, so in addition, so we have, our middle school course, our two high school courses. We also have an array of new AI projects. So in our project catalog, we have over 30 different AI projects that vary from levels of, easy, medium, hard, high school, middle school, and we also have elementary ones as well. So Leanne has already linked that in the chat there. And so if you want to take a look and explore these projects, there are just a ton of different really cool things that I think you can just plug into your classrooms at various times and be able to kind of get your students interested, excited, and learning various things with different AI tools. So I like a few of these. I mean, I'm excited to go through all of them, and I admittedly haven't yet, but there's a lot of cool ones. AI music generation, training Carol the dog with AI, um, preparing for a summer job. How can we use AI to support us there? Um, there's this one too, AI on trial. So just this one is cool, just exploring, what are the benefits and consequences of AI. So getting into more of, like let's talk about the privacy concern. Like, is AI good? Is it bad? And kind of into this project is set up as a kind of simulated courtroom kind of style lesson where students take on various roles within the courtroom. They have to do a lot of research on, depending on what their role is. But I think that's, a project where students could learn a lot about AI here. And then last but not least, our AI in elementary. So with our elementary focus, you do need a license for our AI in elementary. And if that's something that you're looking that you would like to look into more, we have ways of how to share that, how to learn a little bit more about bringing elementary computer science to your school. But in this resource here, which I think is nice to share, so here we have a little a blog about just new elementary projects in AI. And I think a couple of years ago, if you were to tell me that, students in kindergarten or first grade or second grade, that there would be lessons and assignments on I just couldn't fathom that. And I think it's really cool to be able to integrate AI with younger students as well. And so this article is nice. It kind of gives a little bit overview of what CodeHS is doing with elementary and AI, and gives a high level overview of some of those projects in each grade. So in kindergarten, sorting game, first grade, machine learning, and what is a blorg. So a lot of like fun little assignments to get students um, into learning and understanding AI. And then last but not least, we have, if you want to go to codehs.com/AI, on this resource, you'll find everything that I've talked about in terms of CodeHS resources that we've just come out with. You'll find all of that there. So all of our AI curriculum, classroom tools and resources and projects, as well as training. I know there was, mention in the chat about needing more training, whether that's geared towards students or for teachers, administrators, general educators. Um, in our PD side of CodeHS, we offer a lot of various AI literacy and workshop courses to help train educators, whether it's a CS focus or non-CS focused. So definitely take a look at that as well. All right, so we're coming to the end of our webinar here, and before we kind of go through some of the wrap up logistics, I want to ask Leanne again if there's any other topics or discussions or questions that maybe came up that we want to kind of share here before we part ways?
There is nothing about, like in general. One of the questions that we got that I am attempting to answer now, let me find it. Is there a secondary training where the tools are the COPA and FERPA? And for more information, basically asking if the creation of the courses has an option where ethical and legal usability of tools is taken into consideration. And so I know we have courses that teach about the ethical concepts, but I guess maybe I need a little bit more clarification. I'm trying to get clarification of that question currently.
Okay. Is that more related towards the teacher side of things for training, or is that more like student focus question?
That's what I'm trying to figure out as well.
Okay. I can speak to the teacher side of things. We do have some teacher kind of trainer PD courses that are available. Those are available in various avenues, whether it's whether your school or district purchases a PD or a PD membership, but we do have some professional developments courses and trainings available that do highlight some of those aspects. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up here, and I can't wait to look back at a lot of all of the comments and chats. So it's been tough to try to read this as I've been going through this webinar, but I've caught a glimpse of a few different questions and comments, and so I want to say that I appreciate everything that you have shared today. I think a big part of what I was thinking about with this webinar was to help just facilitate just conversations and spark some ideas uh, revolving around AI in education. So with that said, some additional resources in general that we offer here at CodeHS too, becoming a CodeHS certified educator, a wonderful program and cohort and very easy to be a part of. We also offer various micro-credential exams for teachers and students, whether in Java, JavaScript, cybersecurity, Python, web design, web developments. We also have our CodeHS Facebook group, which is a very active group. And then definitely check out our social media various channels. I know there's a few recent short videos that came out from CodeHS that have been, I think, trending a little bit. So there's some goofy and some great information you can find out there too. So one of the last things that I will ask of you is this workshop survey, um, sorry, webinar survey. And I think that one in the chat, we want it to be the webinar survey, right? And so this is where we can get some great feedback about how this webinar went for you. What are things that you liked? What would you like to see in future webinars? Ways to improve. This is something after the webinar, this is something I go right to look at what are things that you guys liked, what are things that you could see as improved, or what do you want to see in the future for different webinars. So thank you in advance for taking a look at that. All right, and then this is, again, I mentioned a part of our free PD series here. So a few upcoming sessions that I want to highlight through the end of June and into July. So, so if we take a look at this, we have, teaching JavaScript, critical thinking, and AI. A couple workshops here on Python, just getting started, a little bit deeper dive into teaching Python, cybersecurity and teaching that course, AI for effective lesson planning, unlocking effective teaching strategies in your CS classroom, AI tools for classroom management, getting started teaching web design, and getting started teaching web development as well. So definitely take a look at that at codehs.com/freepd. Obviously, you've probably seen that site before since you are here with us on this webinar, but take a look at that as we update that at various times. And then lastly, as we start to wrap up things, if you are interested in bringing CodeHS to your school, Please take a look at this, codehs.com/learn more. Just by filling out that information, somebody from our company would be able to reach out and, learn more. What are you interested in bringing and learning about, and what tools and resources do you want to use with CodeHS? And then last but not least, I put the attendance link back in there as well. So if you joined us a little bit late and you missed this one, you would need to be signed in to CodeHS in order for this to work, but you would simply just click on here and it brings you to a page that just says, hey, thanks for attending this event. So we do appreciate you attending this. Please check out all of our other resources. We have a ton that is going on this summer and throughout the school year. A lot of free stuff as well. So definitely take advantage of that. I'll hang out for a few more minutes if there's any questions or comments to follow up. But at this point, I want to thank you again for everything you do for students in the classroom. If you are on summer break, fantastic, awesome. If you're a couple days away, it's almost there. So yeah, thank you for what you do for all of our students.